to sort of get everybody sort of moving and sort of, because I think we find like with legit musical theater like that, we want to be a little more stiff on, and you know, opera and all that sort of stuff. It feels like a little more like proper, and you know, it's good just to get physical and to sort of, you know, try and get rid of some of that sort of tension that we get in being right, being, you know, classical, being legit.
I'm singing "Do I Love You Because You're Beautiful" from Cinderella, and I think I'm comfortable with legit singing, but we'll find out. I want you because you're wonderful, or are you wonderful because I want you? Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream, or are you really as wonderful as you seem?
Great. It sounds really great, to be honest. Let's actually work. We'll talk a little bit about resonance then, because that's sort of what is going to give you a little bit more resonance, a little more sound. Good. Now I want you to sort of feel like you're opening up all these sort of nasopharynx, sort of all this. What's happening is that we use all these sort of spaces where there's not things in our head to resonate. That's what creates this sort of the buzz in our sound. It's between that bite. It's the edge in the sound that makes it carry across long distances. And so could we just actually let's do it. Let's do it. Good. Now can we go. Okay, now can you make, this is my Russian teacher used to say, make the stinky fish face. So what's going to happen is that, everybody does this thing. So what you do is you sort of, you're lifting here. It's as if you're growling, as if you're going to roar. This is what he would do at me. And it would be for the support too, because like a dog at panting. So we're just sort of opening up these sort of spaces here. And it's cool. So okay. Yeah.
Fish face.
Yeah, uglier. An uglier sound. I want it to be uglier. I want to be like a sort of that witch sort of sound. And exaggerated. So it's really lifting. Good, a little bit. Yeah, drop the jaw. Good. Now bring it forward. With resonance, it's sort of, we talk about placement a lot in singing, right? And that's sort of like, it's where you feel the buzz of the sound, right? So we can make that sort of buzz happen all the way as far, that's placement. It's sort of where we feel that the buzz, where the placement of the resonance happens. And I just want to bring it a little bit more forward and see what happens here. So, yeah, that one. Yeah, try it again. Yeah, it's as if you're sort of going to unhinge your head this way.
I mean, it doesn't like, that's, it's just so, it's fun.
Yeah, bring that tongue forward. That's right. Now snarl. Okay. So what's happening is that you're sort of blocking off the airway here.
Okay.
I want you to sort of open it up. Say Now support it. Yes, that one again. Support it. Now push back. See, as if you were trying to say something at the end and say, ha! Ha! That one. That one. Again. Ha! Ha! Ha!
You did the one you did before. Ha! Ha! That one. Can you use that to try and sing from that place? What's happening different when you do that?
I feel more of it coming from down here than wherever it's coming from before.
Support. Yeah, that's all really. I mean, to be honest, you can't do anything else until you got your support correct. You know what I mean? Because it's trying to drive your car without an engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really, let's do this. So let's do from the beginning, and I'm gonna punch you. So I want you to you're gonna lift through here. Okay, so just like this. Yes, good posture. You're big ass opera singer, right? This big old barrel chest, right? And now you're gonna relax here, okay? And then as you're singing, I'm gonna push in. You're gonna push back against it, okay? You're not gonna tense up. You're gonna push back against it, okay? Good. Let's start from the beginning. Okay.
I love you because you're beautiful, or are you beautiful because I love you?
Push back. It's even more as you approach the top there now. Good. Just relax. Keep it going. It's one long stream, so maybe it can be a smaller stream of air. Maybe force the lips together a little more. I would put lip birds into all your warm-ups.
Okay.
Every day I would just do lip birds. Just because the actual act of doing it forces you to do things more correctly. Can we try this one more time, just now singing it? And I want you to think about exaggerating how much you're opening your mouth. Are you the stream that a lover's dream? You're just sort of, I want you to just really drop that jaw, try to hit really tall vowels. And also we should think about that forward sort of placement, that sort of more forward buzz where you want to talk.
Yeah.
More a little like that. So you can get a little more of that into it too.
From the beginning?
Just from this last little section.
Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream, or are you really as wonderful as you seem?
Yes. That was like 50% more sound. The other thing I will say is that you already have a really beautiful, sort of warm, like round sort of sound. You can create a little more space in there, and that's going to give you in your mouth. And that's going to give you a little more rich of a sort of sense between, are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream? Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream?
Wow.
Creating more space.
Yeah.
Even those E's, especially these sort of smaller, these closed vowels, these E's, A's, they want to, we say that as like E, A, but we can actually make those taller. And those are usually the ones that we want to think about making taller. E. You get the difference? One is so much more open, and lots of people don't think about that with these sort of closed vowels. It is a little different, teaching someone of your same voice type. It's easier as a teacher, because I can sort of sympathetically feel what they're doing and hear what they're doing, and I know a little bit more of the pitfalls that a young man will fall into than a young woman. It's just a little bit easier to sort of like, it's such a weird thing that happens as a voice teacher. Like when you listen to someone sing, you can sort of sympathetically feel what they're doing in their vocal cords and elsewhere, and you sort of see me. I'm off to the side going like this as they're singing and doing their songs, like just because I'm sort of like recreating what they're doing on their own, is sort of as I can sort of tailor what they need to do.
What I learned from him mostly was a good breathing technique, which is very important for singers because you don't want to be in the middle of a song and then all of a sudden lose air.
I'm really excited to do this and to learn more about my like soprano voice and head voice a lot more, and to help with blending and stuff, because that legit sing is definitely one of the major things I need to work on. All I know is me, and now I see
things you can and you should do is when as you're approaching the top, is you really want to open up. Just drop the jaw. You know, really make that a taller vowel. The biggest thing again is, I hate to be this guy, it's a support issue, to be honest, and it may just be partially nerves and stuff like that, which always gets me. And I'm like, it's hard to remember any of that sort of stuff when we're nervous because we just want to tense. And but that's what's really going to fix a lot of this because it's coming off a little bit airy. Yeah. But you have like just a naturally pretty sound. So you just, as soon as we sort of give some of that a little more space in the top, and then we sort of give it that core, it's gonna rock. So let's can we just do this? Can you do the lip burns? Okay, 1 for 3. Going down with
We were doing the lip trills and he was pushing into my stomach or whatever, and I got like the sound that comes out was like I didn't know I could do that. Just another broken dream.
That's already 100 times better. Now I want to make sure that we're not coming forward. I want you to think stay back, and tuck the chin a little bit. Just another broken. Open, drop that jaw. Oh, yes. Exaggerate it. Just do it for me.
Okay. Just another broken dream.
Good. Now all of it I want more open.
Okay.
Just another broken dream. If you can even put your hands in. Just another broken dream.
Okay. Just another broken dream.
That already sounds 100 times better. So everything needs to be that open.
Okay.
You want to talk, you want to sing like this. Just another broken dream, and that's gonna be pretty. You have a pretty sound. But when you hear more of it, just open that mouth.
Okay.
Singing is completely different from talking. When we talk like this, is how we Americans talk. It's fun. But if you're gonna sing, you're gonna have to exaggerate it. Just another broken dream. Just another broken dream. Just another broken dream. Just another broken dream. So I get like a quarter of the sound. Tall, long vowels, vertical vowels. Yes, tuck that chin. Susan, let's come up. We lose it. Exactly. Great. Good job.
We were just trying to get her to drop her jaw and open her mouth more mostly. And you saw as we sort of worked her through, just more sound came out. It was a rounder sort of sound. There's more depth to it.
The way he teaches is very forward and like I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of shy at first. I'm sort of a shy person by nature, but when I get teaching, I sort of get really worked up and get really excited, especially when people are starting to make progress, and I get really high energy. You just sort of see me like yelling and running around and like talking 100 miles a minute there. I get very excited about teaching.
I'll be singing In My Own Little Corner from Cinderella.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. On the wings of my fancy, I can fly anywhere, and the world will open its arms to me. I'm a young Norwegian princess, you're a little me. I'm the greatest prima donna in Milan.
In my own little corner. What's happening is we're just sort of chopping up this phrase. I want you to think about, we're sort of talking about that sort of cello thing.
Yeah.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair. I want you to make one long phrase out of that sentence. Okay, just imagine that you're a cello and sort of really make these sort of sweeping musical things. You know what I'm talking about? When I'm talking about making a phrase, right?
Yeah.
Any sort of like musical phrase, it grows, right? It starts from somewhere, it grows, and then sometimes it comes back down, you know what I mean? And then it grows again, but it always has to really sort of go somewhere, right? So I really want to sort of think about making that one sort of long thing. Each dramatic idea, each musical idea has to sort of be one phrase rather than sort of breaking it up. You know, it's one breath too at the same time too, right? It's one sort of bowing, one. In my own little corner, in my own little chair. I mean, at least that much is one breath, right? And that's one phrase. Can you just sing that?
I'm as wild as weak as a mouse. When I hear a command, I obey. And I know the spot in my house where no one can stand in my way.
Good. Yeah. So what's happening here? No one can stand in my way. We're getting really spread here. And I want to sort of think of no one can stand in my way. Yeah, let's make a little more loud. My own little corner in my own little chair. Good. Almost like corner. So this is great. R's and L's are our enemy in singing, especially these hard R's, these sort of American. Corner, you can't sing on or O, L. It forces your sort of your throat to close up. And so what I want you to do is you're going to modify the vowel corner, which would be corner, That makes sense?
Yeah, so like tall.
Yeah, so it's an instead of an
Okay.
Corner, and then at the very end you put the R.
Okay.
Okay, so anytime you have those L's and those sort of consonants, R's, just any consonant, you're gonna wait for those to the very, very last second.
Okay.
Okay, and they're just sort of they're hints of those sounds
that are about corner or those sort of hard R's in the American language, which we can just sort of open up in order to be able to sing on.
Just as long as I sing in my little corner.
Yeah, no, corner, I'm gonna sing corner, as if you're from Boston. Corner. Yes.
Okay.
Corner, at the very last second.
Corner.
Yeah, and the tongue stays forward. Corner. Yes, it's better.
Just as long as I sing in my own little corner.
Yes, that's 100 times better. Anytime we have a high note, a little trick that classical singers use is that we modify vowels, because it's really almost impossible to sing higher notes on really close sort of vowels. So we'll open them up. These sort of hard R's are almost always going to, in legit sort of singing, going to become more open, sort of is it's any chance you can get to make the sound more open, make the vowels more open anytime, and so that goes across all sort of vowels and consonants that are going to influence them. You know, we do all our singing on vowels. You know, you don't do any singing on consonants. As you push sort of the higher notes in your sort of range, you're going to want to modify those vowels to more open sort of vowels. So like E will become an I, and A will become an E. Like an A becomes more of an Let me just demonstrate, but you won't really hear it. Hopefully you won't hear a ton of difference. Just or like. I'm actually modifying towards an A on the top that sounds like E. Is that, you guys should hear what's coming here. Or and I'm dropping my jaw here. It's becoming or an trick that you can, if you get to like a high note or something like that, and you're having more trouble, just think about making it more open vowel.
Just as long as I stay in my own little corner, all alone in my own little chair.
That's 100 times better.
Yeah, I felt it.
Did you
Yeah.
feel it?
I'm a girl that goes out for lots of hate, like play with the cool and wanting kind of air.
Yes, exactly. Staying open. Air. Yeah, good. Expanding all the way to the end of the phrase. Good. That's fantastic. Good job. Good. Sounds great.
His voice is absolutely spectacular. I've heard opera singers before, but his voice just blew my mind. It was amazing.
Sounds really good. His voice is super dreamy. He should record a CD if he hasn't already, and I will play it to my children when they sleep.
Yeah, I noticed them sort of make a face when I sang, and that's always a little weird moment in teaching young students, because I mean, a lot of people don't hear that amount of sound, and that sort of, I don't know, most people have never heard an opera singer too sing.
He's very out there in a good way, like definitely in a good way.
Because I sort of trying to be that professor guy, and all of a sudden I was making weird faces and forcing them on the ground. And
That had to be the most fun I've ever had in a music class.
One time, Doug Carpenter punched me in the stomach.